Chapter 3. Freedom. Gulliver learned the people's language as quickly as he could. Then he asked to see the Emperor. "Please set me free," he pleaded. The Emperor wasn't sure.
"You'll have to wait,"
he said,
"You may still be dangerous."
and he sent his men to search Gulliver's pockets. They found his handkerchief, his snuff box, his notebook,
What's that? Oh, strange language.
his comb, his watch, and a bag of coins.
The biggest coins I've ever seen.
The only dangerous thing they found was his gun. But they didn't know what it was. The Emperor wasn't satisfied. He sent a message to Gulliver.
"Do you have any weapons? Show us,"
he demanded. "This is my sword, and this is my gun." "Don't worry," Gulliver said. "You can have them." He handed his sword and gun to the guards, and the Emperor relaxed. But he still didn't set Gulliver free. Gulliver just had to wait. To pass the time, he learned more about the country, which was called Lilliput. It had some very strange customs. One was the game of leaping and creeping. Even important nobles played it. They had to leap over a stick or creep under one. The winners won prizes. To work for the Emperor, people had to do tricks. The top jobs went to the best acrobats.
Up, up, and over!
Gulliver thought this custom was very odd, but he didn't show it. If he was friendly, they might trust him and let him go. Every day, Gulliver begged to be allowed to leave the temple. Finally, the Emperor agreed.
"Let him go," he declared. "The giant may walk where he likes, but he must ask first, and he must stay on the main roads."
"I will," Gulliver promised. Free at last, Gulliver set off to explore the city. All the people stayed indoors to avoid his enormous feet.
There he is.
I've never seen anything like it.
He's huge.
Gulliver thought he'd visit the palace, but the gate was too small and the walls were too tall. So he cut down a tree from the palace garden and made 2 stools. With a stool on either side of the wall, he could step over into the palace courtyard. Inside, he was taken to meet the Empress and her children.
"Welcome,"
said the Empress. She held out her hand for Gulliver to kiss. Gulliver explored the entire city before he returned to his temple that night. When he fell asleep, he had a smile on his face. Chapter 4. War. Lilliput seemed like a peaceful place, but Gulliver soon found out it wasn't. One day, the Emperor's secretary came to see him.
"We have a problem,"
He said.
"There are 2 groups of people in Lilliput. The Tramicsans wear high heels, and the Slamicsans wear low ones. They're bitter enemies, and both groups want to rule. The Emperor likes low heels at the moment, so the Slamicsans have more power. But if he changes his mind, war could break out."
"That's terrible," said Gulliver.
"And that's not all,"
cried the secretary.
"We're already at war with a nearby island called Blefuscu. Blefuscu is going to attack us."
"Why?" said Gulliver. "Whatever happened?"
"It's all about eggs.
explained the secretary.
Boiled eggs and the cut finger."
Gulliver was astonished. "Eggs," he said. "How?" The secretary blushed.
"Well, many years ago, everyone opened their eggs at the big end, but then the prince cut his finger when breaking his egg open. His father passed a law at once. No one was to crack their eggs at the big end ever again. Eggs always had to be eaten from the smaller end. Lots of people refused to obey the law. They were ready to die over it, and some were killed. But others fled to Blefuscu because there people still cracked their eggs at the big end. We've been at war ever since, and now the Blefuscu fleet is going to invade Lilliput. You have to help us,
the secretary pleaded.
please.
Gulliver listened carefully to the sad tale. "I'll see what I can do," he said. He tried to find the island of Blefuscu with his telescope. It was easy to spot. A fleet of ships was getting ready to set out. Gulliver counted over 50 warships. What can I do against so many ships? I know. I'll need ropes and iron bars, he told the emperor. Gulliver twisted the ropes together to make them stronger. Then he bent the iron bars into hooks. "Now for the next stage of my plan," he muttered, heading to the sea. Gulliver waded in and swam almost to Blefuscu. When he rose out of the sea, towering above them, the sailors screamed with fright. Many dived overboard just to escape. Gulliver hooked a rope to each of the ships and tied the ropes together. Then he hauled the fleet back across the sea to Lilliput.
3 cheers for Gulliver!
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!